Evening, Pikkufighter, and welcome to the first Devlog for my game, Chaos Program. You might be asking yourself, what is a Devlog? It's like an update video where I talk about new things added to the game, how far I've gotten, and maybe some planned stuff. So it's like a development vlog. Now you might think that you don't find this that interesting, and that's totally fine. After all, I made this mostly for myself to see how far I've gotten into the game and what's left to do. It's also a quite easy and interesting way to keep those who are interested updated on my progress. So what is Chaos Program? Well, the base idea for Chaos Program was Binding of Isaac in 3D environment. A random generated map, roguelike elements with a futuristic setting. No further information has to be given at this point, since there's not that much visuals added to the game, only code stuff. Starting with the level generation. When the game starts, it generates a set amount of positions where rooms will spawn. It's currently set to 10. The rooms themselves then takes care of spawning the walls, roof, and floor choosing. Floors are chosen from a list. Also, one of the rooms get a vending machine. It's currently only a placeholder cube. After rooms have spawned, they get a call from the level generator to check if they have any room above or below them. If they do, they activate the teleport set somewhere in the room. Depending on if they got a room above, below, or both, it activates the button on the teleport. This is the current way of going up and down. Still doesn't feel that dynamic. Tried with ladders, but since it's going to be a quite fast-paced game, the ladders broke the flow of the game. Probably I've noticed the big boss room already, and that's also spawned in the level generator. This is 6 times as big as a normal room. It must check all those positions if there's a room spawned in them. It does this by checking if there's any positions added inside the area it takes. This way was a lot shorter and cleaner than having 6 if statements to check all the positions. The boss room can only spawn to the sides of a normal room, not above or below. This was the only point I will give such a deep explanation on how it works. Moving on to the UI. The health panel currently contains of 2 things, a basic health slider and a text that displays how much armor you currently have. This is currently set so it's pretty low on both. Max health is currently on 10 and your starting armor is 0. This is to get the feeling that every hit point counts. Like every time you get hit, it's actually quite devastating. In the lower left corner we have the ammo panel that displays the amount of ammunition this gun have, magazine currently, and how many bullets it's left total. This is of course if the weapons have these. There's also some pop-up text that gives information when looking at certain things. Currently only showing on the teleporter buttons. So to the fun part, weapons. There are currently a few working weapons and a few non-working ones. Working weapons are the Glock, the M417, shotgun, some kind of thrower that's undecided yet, a minigun, and a grenade. All of these have different ammunition, and all except the grenade and the thrower has an accuracy variable. There's also models for a laser gun, machete, and an RPG. As for the enemies, got a few models ready. They still need work, and only 2 of them are working in-game. That's the Flying Mantra and the Spinner. Spinner is the testing enemy that currently makes up all the enemies in the main game. It's used to test the lockdown function. The lockdown is an important part of this game, since you shouldn't be able to run through all the levels the entire game. You have to kill all the enemies in a room before you can proceed. The lockdown works in the boss room as well. The levels are counted dynamically. The amount of levels depends on how many various levels there is added in the game handle levels. These hold all the different rooms in the level, the walls, the boss, all ground enemies, and all air enemies that spawn. The current amount of levels is set to 3, which means there's only 3 levels in the game. They're all the same since this is only a test. Another big part of the game is a random equipment that can be found or bought. The only equipment in the game at this moment is a cigar that decreases your max life with 1 and adds 2 points to your armor. It's currently unobtainable. There's also a static handler that holds static global function and enum. It currently contains a shuffle, destroy children, an improved find method, and an enemy type enum. The damage multiplier is here temporary. Final for this part of the video is the test hall. Test hall is a separate scene to view and test objects. All models can be found here. This is also a reworked version, so some comparison stuff next. First I compared with the profiler and the newer was a bit more effective, not much but a bit. But this can't be trusted to 100% since the older have a lot more functions, so instead I'm going to compare the level generators, that's the one that has the most improvement. Looking at the script, the old level generator has 317 lines of code, while the newer one only has 207. I did also a stopwatch test that showed that the old script took 85 milliseconds to execute, while the newer only took 36 milliseconds. With this data you can see that it's 110 lines shorter and still 136% more effective, which is an incredible improvement. Lastly, if you got any suggestions, questions or ideas, please tell me in the comments. That's it for now, so thanks for watching and see ya.